Welcome to Honda Plus channel. Please share, like and subscribe. Thank you. The Honda Clarity is a fuel cell vehicle designed to get around one of the persistent problems with electric cars, recharging. Plenty of EV owners top up their batteries at home, but doing so when they're out and about becomes a lottery on availability and requires at least half an hour to get the job done. 2. Fuel cell technology offers a solution to this, albeit one with its own set of compromises. You fuel up the Clarity from hydrogen pump, in much the same way as you would put petrol or diesel into a regular car, and it takes roughly the same amount of time to do so. Then, the car's trick fuel cell stack turns this hydrogen into electricity to power the car's motors, emitting nothing but water. There's the potential, therefore, for proper zero emissions motoring, assuming, of course, that your hydrogen has been produced using renewable energy. Honda claims the Clarity has the greatest range of any zero emissions vehicle, at just over 400 miles, but with only about a dozen hydrogen refueling stations in the UK so far, chances are you'd still need to go out of your way to fill the tank. This is not the first Honda fuel cell vehicle. Its predecessor, the FCX Clarity, was leased to selected customers back in the early 2000s, allowing Honda to use the whole process as a data mining exercise on the tech and the habits of its users. The same thing applies to the new Clarity, in fact. Just 3 specially selected UK customers will get their hands on the car this year, in a deal where the only obligations on their part will be paying for the hydrogen and filling in 100s of questionnaires for curious Honda engineers. By early next year, this figure will expand, but even then, there will only be 6 vehicles on British roads. The long-term goal is ambitious, though. By 2025, Honda expects 2 out of 3 cars that it sells in Europe to feature some form of electrification, either as a hybrid, a plug-in hybrid, a pure electric vehicle or a fuel cell. This Clarity is a huge step on from the FCX. The new car's stack has a slightly higher output, 103 kilowatts compared with 100 kilowatts, but more importantly, it's now compact and robust enough to fit under the bonnet. Indeed, the packaging is clever enough for the Clarity to be a 5-seater, the first fuel cell saloon able to cope with 3 occupants in the back. Under the skin, there's an all-new platform created especially for this car. The more compact stack has been made possible by various system developments, including a 2-stage air compressor that boosts the pressure of the air supply to the stack by 70%. The hydrogen itself is stored at enormous pressure, 700 bar, in fact, in a pair of tanks, one under the boot floor and the other beneath the rear seats. The boot capacity of 334 liters is pretty decent for an FCV, although Toyota's 4-seat Mirai, the Clarity's nominal rival, trumps it, at 361 liters. The boot isn't quite all it seems, however. Honda proclaims that it can house 3 sets of golf clubs, but its shape is still badly compromised by the fuel tank, so you get a small lower section and then a big step that items are likely to slide off during even modest acceleration. The aperture is quite narrow, too, because of the hinge point on the hatch. From the outside, the Clarity has a few cues to hint at its green credentials. It's most notable in the side profile, which includes partly faired-in rear wheels that are designed to be as aerodynamically efficient as possible. There's a blade at the base of the back door that funnels fast-moving air down the flanks, too. There's also an odd treatment at the base of the rear hatchback, where the bodywork splits the glass in 2 in a bid to clean up the air. As a result, you get quite a cluttered view through the rear view mirror. It's a big brute, mind you. The Clarity is 4,915 mm long and 1,875 mm wide, so it's bigger all round than a Ford Mondeo hatchback. The wheelbase is comparatively short, at 2,750 mm, but there's still room on board for 4 adults. A 3rd occupant in the rear is feasible, although the hefty central tunnel would become a pain after a while. The Clarity's electric motor is rated at 174 bhp, the lithium-ion battery tops up the supply from the stack when necessary, and there's 300 Nm of torque available from rest. The car takes 9.2 seconds to reach 62 miles per hour, Honda claims, and it'll go on to a top speed of 103 miles per hour. On the road, it feels every bit a match for those figures and extremely refined with it. There's a distant bit of whine under hard acceleration, which feels brisk rather than rapid, but when you're traveling at 70 miles per hour the powertrain is absolutely silent. You're more likely to hear road noise if the surface is quite rough, or wind noise from the side mirrors if it's not.